looks like it's doing its thing. So a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. As always, I'm going to record this so we can have it for our future minutes. And I would also like to remind everyone to please state their name before adding any comments or making a motion. That'll help us also better track with the additionally, once I go through the roll call, I'm going to ask anyone else that I might have missed just to identify themselves, including RTC staff, just trying to get a better handle on our minutes here. So without further ado, let me pull up the roster. And we will get started. So I'm just going to read in the order that I see it here. Sig Uranis.
Here.
Harvey Katz. I think he said he couldn't make it. Alan Chow. Ellen, are you there? Suraj Verma.
Here.
Jillian Keller.
Here.
Paul Malakowski.
Oops. Okay, I'm unmuted now. I'm here.
Great, thank you, Paul. Dora UL.
I'm here, Dan. Thank you.
Thanks, Dora. Vince Harris.
Vince is there, but it looks like he might be muted.
Okay. Thanks, Jillian.
This is Vince. Did you hear Vince now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Vince. Scott Munns, he said he could not make it. Rudy Leon. Rudy? Okay. Mayuku Majima?
Here.
Jeff Bonanno?
Here.
Laura Azam? No, Laura. Mike Sozinski?
Here.
And Mauricio Urias. Okay. Well, it looks like we have a quorum. And also, I'm just going to go through the list that I can see again for the minutes. Obviously, Dan Dunges here hosting the Zoom meeting. I see Jim Gee with RTC. We have A.T. Stoddard with LSC, who will be assisting with the presentation this evening. Amy Cummings, RTC. David Carr, RTC. Jennifer Myers, RTC. Laura Brown. Laura, I'm not familiar. I don't think I've had the pleasure to meet you yet. Or unless, are you with LSC?
Yes, I'm
sorry.
part of the team. Yep,
Yes,
that's okay.
we did meet virtually. Thank you. Pedro Rodriguez with NDOT. Sajid Sluharia with NDOT. And I believe that is everyone. Is there anyone I missed?
Rebecca Capular with RTC.
I'm sorry, Rebecca. How could I?
Not a problem.
Okay. So with that, we can get the meeting started. Vince, I'll turn it over to you. And one last reminder for everyone to just please mute your microphones to cut down any background noise unless you want to jump in and speak. Thanks again. Vince, it's all yours.
Vince's screen looks suspiciously frozen to me.
Sure
Yeah.
I seem
does.
to be having trouble with the,
Oh, there he is.
okay. Yeah, I'm back. I'm having a little bit of problem with my internet connection, so hopefully I'll be able to continue with the meeting. Good evening, everyone. This is Vince Harris. Just want to welcome you to the meeting this evening. Dan already mentioned it, but staff had asked that we just remind everyone when you speak to please give your full name, your first and last name, so we can have that for the record. I'm going to officially open the meeting. It's 5:37 and the meeting is now open. I'd like to start with item number 1, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Vince, this is Jeff Bonato. Real quick question. We have on the agenda approval of the June 3rd meeting minutes. Are we planning on approving July?
Jeff, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm seeing that we have an approval of the June 3rd meeting minutes. Do we have an approval for July's at all on this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I could jump in there. And Jeff, we do not for this meeting.
I'd have to turn the staff on that. I didn't see an attachment.
Yeah, we do not for the July meeting. Those minutes weren't available for today yet, so we do anticipate those for next month's meeting in September. We've been a little short-staffed lately, so we have some people kind of pitching in and catching up. So we will have both sets of minutes by the next meeting for today's meeting and July.
With that fact, I move to approve the agenda.
Can I get a second, please?
This is Dora Ueli, second.
Moved by Jeff and seconded by Dora. Can I, all in favor, say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Agenda is approved. Moving on to item number 2. Is there any public comment that is to be made? This comment? Dan, is there any public comment and notices that you received?
We did not receive any public comment prior to the meeting.
All right, well, then we'll move on to item number 3, which in fact is approval of the June 3rd, 2020 meeting minutes. Again, are there any changes that would like to be made to the minutes? Can I get a motion to approve? Can I get a motion to approve item number 3?
Yeah, this is Suraj Verma. I move to approve the June 3rd minutes.
This is Dora, second.
Can I get a motion by Suraj, seconded by Dora? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain for being
And
absent.
1 abstention. The item
This is Jeff
passes.
Bonato. I abstain. Sorry.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Item is approved. We're moving on to item on the Nevada Department of Transportation Spaghetti Bowl Express, SBX. This is for possible action. Do we have someone that's going to give that report, Dan?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to turn that over to, looks like we have both Pedro and Sajid from NDOT. So I'm sure they'll be pitch hitting and presenting the report.
Yeah, Dan, I will be presenting the update for SBX. This is Sajid Tularia. So I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see that.
Nothing yet, Sajid. Maybe I have to do something on my end to. What I'm going to do is make you a co-host, and that might help you. So let me do that. Why don't you try again?
Okay,
There it goes.
do you see it?
I do. Thank you.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, and I'm also going to turn my camera off just for a quick, brief few minutes, just because I think it's lagging a little bit. So at least while I'm talking, you can see the presentation, guys. So give me a minute. Oops. Well, I guess I'll start with that. So if it stops, let me know. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to provide an update on RENA Spaghetti Bowl project. And my name is again Sajid Solaria, NDOT Project Management Division. And I would like to begin with the project objectives and benefits. Again, like I said, it's my presentation is alluding to or describing there. What are the objectives and benefits for this project? We are expanding our southbound I-580 Spaghetti Bowl to Villanova Street. We're enhancing safety and reducing congestion and minimizing travel delays by reducing the number of weaving segments and adding travel and auxiliary lanes. We're also widening lanes and shoulders. Currently there are substandard shoulders, so we're widening as those as well. And then most importantly, we also reconfiguring interchange ramps access as well. And the overall goal of SBX is to improve safety, efficiency, and operations throughout Spaghetti Bowl with a focus of improving eastbound to southbound flow and southbound in general. So what are the major project construction features? So on the right, you see, sorry, let me move this out of the way. I have a lot of cameras in here. I apologize. Move that down. What you see on the right is the project area highlighted in yellow. So like I mentioned in the previous slide, we are reconfiguration in this project, I-80 eastbound and exit ramps between Wells and Spaghetti Bowl. And also this project will widen I-80 eastbound to I-580 southbound ramp to 2 lanes. So this is that movement right here. Well, this project also will reconfigure and widen I-580 southbound through the Spaghetti Bowl to accommodate 3 lanes here. And we will construct a minimum of 4 lanes plus auxiliary lanes between the Spaghetti Bowl and Vassar Street. So down all the way to here. This project will also construct new and replace or widen about 7 bridges. This will also reconstruct 2nd and Glendale and Mill Street southbound entrance and exit ramps. This project will also replace portion of I-580 northbound pavement that was from here. It's from the inside. I think it's 3 lanes that we will be replacing those. It's showing that in this yellow area right here. And I'm going to share a brief video with you, so hopefully you guys can hear it. It's a little bit, graphics is a little bit outdated, but it's still pretty good to get an overview of the picture.
The Reno Spaghetti Bowl Express project aims to improve traffic flow on I-580 between Villanova Drive and I-80. Centralized with loop ramp improvements at 2nd Street. Heading southbound on I-580, currently 3 lanes merge into 2, causing backups. The Spaghetti Bowl Express project will improve flow by keeping 3 lanes over I-80. Looking at the I-80 eastbound off-ramp, the revised eastbound exits to 395-580 will be restriped to use 2 freeway lanes to deliver traffic to this exit. That ramp will then enter southbound I-580 with 2 lanes instead of tapering into 1. Southbound traffic on I-580 now offers a 2-lane exit to 2nd Street. Immediately following is the new Mill Street exit. Mill Street traffic exits while 2nd Street traffic enters I-580 via a new braided ramp. Improvements continue to the Villanova Drive exit. Additional capacity allows for better traffic flow for I-580 southbound. The Spaghetti Bowl Express project will provide much needed improvements for the I-580 corridor.
Okay. So what are some updates I'd like to share with you on our phase 1 of SBX? You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So NDOT Board of Directors approved our contract as a design build on December 17th of last year. Ames and Q&D was the successful design builder, and it was $181.2 million was the amount. And what we have done so far since then, we had notice to proceed 1 for this project was issued on January 13th, 2020. And in design build projects, there's 2 major key notices, notice to proceeds on there. So this is notice to proceed 1, where they can set up their office buildings, like mobilization, perform any investigation work. They'd like to do surveying and things like that. So that allows them under their NTP1 work. So that was issued in January 13th. Most importantly, and NTP2, that's about 90 days or 3 months after the NTP1, it is a critical milestone in the project that allows the contractor in the contract to start proceeding with the design element units. And it starts the department reviews on the design units. They can start preparing plans for construction for the project. And most importantly, they can start construction. So notice to proceed 2, that was issued April 29th. Like I said, that was one of the critical milestone. And now we are in August 1st. So we are well underway in design reviewing, design reviews and plan reviews and things like that. What we anticipated construction activities will happen late summer of 2020. Obviously, we're almost there. So as design builder is progressing with their design elements, I would anticipate that will happen soon. This project will substantially complete by late 2022. And currently, as you probably have seen, there was some geotech work going on in the field as was needed for the project, and some utility pothole working, things like that. So as far as there's no traffic control or anything that have public notice so far. So there was a lot of work that was done, not on the freeway itself at this point. So what are our project team for this project? So the design builder team consists of Ames and Q&D. They're the contractors. They are joint venture comprised of Ames Construction and Q&D Construction. Their lead design engineer is Horrocks Engineers. And on the other side of the department, NDOT is a contract administration team is our project management and our District 2 and our technical staff. And also we are supported by contract and design compliance manager through our consultants, Jacob and Diversify Consulting Services on this project. So this project is broken up into 12 different operations here, 12 different design elements. Nothing in particular order, but I just wanted to touch what those are that consist in this project. Their neighborhood walls will be constructed. There's Mill Streets and 2nd Street ramps. I mentioned I-580 over UPRR bridge. There will be a Truckee River Bridge as well, I-580 over Truckee River, 2nd and Glendale Bridge, also Mill Street Bridge, and then 2nd and Mill Street braided ramps structure, braided ramps as well. And then also I-580 over Vassar Street Bridge. There'll be work going on the main line, like I mentioned earlier. There'll be some retaining walls and sound wall work and ITS signal and lighting, and then button it up on this project will be signing and striping. That is the components in this project. So what are some notable project challenges on this project? As we know that there's no project that does not have any, other project that does not have any challenges. So I think this project is no different, and we want to minimize any impacts and any challenges that we have by minimizing impacts to motorists during major freeway reconstruction, by limiting numbers of alternative routes, major bridge demolitions and construction work over Truckee River. As we know, generally the work will be done above the river, but contractor may have to use the river banks, or during construction of the new bridge, I guess they have to remove some old bridge work there, so they have to work along the river as well. There will be 408 permits requirement, and there's some seasonal restriction on Truckee River itself, so that also presents some challenges there. We want to avoid delays. They're attributed to railroad agreements and approval. Railroad agreements do take time, and we are working through them. Just to kind of bring that out, that's as well as any other project, if you have a project that you're working with railroad. There will be bridge demolition and construction over local roads. We want to limit the impacts to our users and businesses as well, and minimize impacts to our stakeholders and out there to end businesses, like I mentioned before. So in a quick overview, that is what I'd like to share with you. So I will open it up if there's any questions. I know I went through a little faster, but given the time, I just wanted to present the quick update with you guys.
Do we have any questions for the presenter?
I just want to add one more thing. If you guys want to see more, if you can also check our SBX project on our website, NDOT website under NDOT projects, Green the Spaghetti Bowl, and you can look at the monthly updates there as well.
I would just want to say thank you to Sajid for the presentation, and yeah, I think I could probably speak for everyone that we're really looking forward to the improvements. So glad to see you guys are getting to work.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So this item was received. Do we need to make a motion to receive it?
Yes, please.
This is Sig Yountrice. I'll move that we receive the report from the Nevada Department of Transportation on the Spaghetti Bowl Express project.
Can we get a second?
Jeff Bonanno, I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the item carries. Moving on to item number 5, we acknowledge the receipt of a report regarding the update of the 2015 Coordinated Human Services Public Transportation Plan, CT. Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is there? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I'll actually turn this over to Jennifer Myers to kick it off. I know our consultant team is with us this evening and would like to give a presentation. So I'll turn it to Jennifer for an introduction.
Thank you, Dan. Good evening, everyone. For the record, Jennifer Myers, a Transit Contract Administrator for the Public Transportation Department at RTC. Several months ago, we introduced LSC Transportation Consultants to you, and we have been working with them on the update of RTC's Coordinated Human Services Public Transportation Plan. Sorry, slight interruption. The janitor just came in my office. Sorry about that. Anyhow, AT Stoddard is joining us today from LSC to give you an overview of where we are today and to seek input from you regarding unmet needs and types of improvements or changes that RTC should be looking for. I turn the floor over to you, AT. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm AT Stoddard with LSC Transportation Consultants. With me tonight is Laura Brown. You'll hear from her in just a few minutes. Unfortunately, Megan McPhillamy, whom some of you may hear from at some point, was going to join us, but there was a pretty bad hailstorm where she lives in southern Colorado Springs, and she lost a window and internet service. So she won't be with us tonight, but we will cover that. And at some point, you'll probably either be involved or see her. Oh, I'd like to just give just a brief update of where we are in the process. And then, as Jennifer said, we'd like to hear from you, really have 2 questions for you and get your input. We've been in the process of putting together the inventory of existing transportation services. We have I think a pretty good detailed inventory of those at this point. We've talked to a number of agency representatives and had individual interviews with them. And right now we are in the process of trying to do some community outreach. Part of that is obviously is talking with you, but the challenge is getting out to the broader community. A lot of times what we like to do is go out to a senior center for lunch and talk to folks, or go to other activities where people are there. But unfortunately, that isn't really possible right now. So what we're doing is putting out an online effort to get people to participate. We've created a short questionnaire for people to tell us about transportation needs, unmet needs, things they'd like to see improved. And that should go live tomorrow. It will be on the RTC website. We've got the questionnaire can be done online, both English and Spanish. We also have printable forms that can be printed out, again, English and Spanish, for those who are hesitant to do it online or can't for whatever reason. So we're in the process of getting that out. Certainly that's one of the things. If you have contacts where you could help publicize that opportunity, that certainly would help us. It is a real challenge, but we are going to try to get the word out as broadly as we can for people to give us that input. It will, I think, certainly help us put the plan together. The other thing we're asking is if people are interested and want to keep informed, they can sign up, provide an email, and we'll let them know as the plan is put together. They can provide input at later points in the process. So that's where we are right now. And again, moving forward, the big challenge, as we've seen in other places as well, is trying to get that broader community input, particularly from people who may not be online a lot, may not have access to the internet, or may be reluctant to do things online. So hopefully the options we're giving will work for that. What I'd like to spend our time on this evening, though, is to ask you really the 2 questions. And the first one I have is, what do you see as unmet transportation needs for those who need specialized transportation services? So really we're focusing on those who have some type of mobility limitation, seniors, people with low income, but in particular those who may need a higher level of specialized transportation service. So give you an opportunity. Certainly this is not the only opportunity you'll have. You can contact us through RTC, either Daniel or Jennifer can forward things on to us. We'd love to hear from you, but right now, any of you that would like to share what you see as unmet needs for specialized transportation services, and we're really looking at all of Washoe County, not just the Reno Sparks area, although obviously that's where the bulk of the population is.
Does anyone have any comment regarding unmet transit needs for the presenter?
This is Jillian Keller. I'm not sure if this directly relates, but in past meetings, something that's come up is access for the sight impaired with regard to bus signs. So I know that there's been some efforts in the past, but just thought I'd bring that up as it seems to somewhat relate to this. But yeah, there was I know some effort to change the position of the signs so that Braille could be used, not 6 feet off the ground. And some of the other issues that came up during that discussion were some of the curbs and the things around bus stops not being great for access for people with disabilities, or yeah, and sight impaired was definitely one of the focuses of those comments, but in general, people with disabilities and mobility issues.
Great, thank you. That is very applicable. So thank you.
Just for the record, David Carr, Facilities and Fleet Manager for RTC. We are in the process of getting signs. So that's been approved, and we're actually starting the procurement on that right now. So coincidentally, good timing on that question, and we'll be installing those signs in at a lower position. So we'll keep you posted as that procurement goes through, and that was a very timely question.
Hi, this is Dora. Well, thank you for that, Mr. David Carr. I know we were talking about this 6 years ago. And so I hope it'll be 6 feet off the ground, those Braille identifiers for the buses. And you all know I'm blind. And so I have been riding the RTC buses, the big buses. And recently, it hasn't been this case this week. But before this week, I would go on the bus, and it would be very hard because I have a service dog, and the seats would be buckled up, or like it has the seat belt on them. So the disabled seat. So it was hard for me to, find my seat and have to go to the back with the dog and the whole social distance thing. And sometimes when I asked the driver, they're doing their job, but they didn't know that's I'm allowed to sit on those disabled seats. So I hope that ever since our email to Ms. Myers and AT and everybody on that email, that it's been taken care of. But I know people that use a walker, some of the sidewalks are not even, and if I wasn't there, they would tip over and fall, to the road. So I think those need to be identified. I could take pictures, but as you know about that, can't take pictures and send them to you guys. But that and some of the audible, the bus stop audible that tells us what street is coming, they're delayed or it's the wrong street. The bus driver said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Don't listen to that. Where do you want to go?" So I think those need to be taken care of so we could, commute independently. Those are just what I could think of right at the top of my head.
Great, thank you.
Jillian Keller again. Related to social distancing and some of the new practices that need to be used, I've heard some reports of really full buses and maybe some of the bus drivers who haven't enforced a mask policy. So I'm thinking that there might need to be a little bit more empowerment or maybe even positive reinforcement for bus drivers to enforce the social distance practices and policies so that people with vulnerable medical issues can be safe.
Great, thank you. If there's no one,
I have a question. Sorry,
go
AT,
ahead.
I'm
Yes,
so sorry.
please go
This
ahead,
is Dora. So I have a question because I was riding on FlexRide, and I told them I'm a CMAC member and my attendant, and they said, well, right now we don't enforce fares. Is that the FlexRide driver said that to me, and she said we don't, we are not allowed to refuse a passenger. And what was going through my head is, okay, is that accurate? And if so, I just don't want the cost to fall on people with disability, like to raise fares. Is that correct, that they're not enforcing fares on passengers? They can let them on and let it ride for free?
This is Jim Gee from the RTC. I'll look into the fare issue on the FlexRide service, but I certainly would not worry that we would raise fares because of something like that. Yeah, I mean, if we have an individual driver that may not be collecting fares the way they should, I'll find out. But overall, in terms of our financial picture, there's no future plans for raising fares, and there's certainly no consequence on the entire fare structure and our entire passenger base for something like this.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because that's what they said 7 years ago, and access ticket went up to $3. But so, yeah, and the driver said, well, we don't have a machine. So, if they don't have the ticket, I'm not going to collect money. So I just let them on for free. That's what I heard. That's what they were telling me. So thank you.
I'll look into it. Thank you.
Okay, AT Stoddard again. Anyone else have unmet needs to identify? And a last call for that. At least at this meeting, and if you do think of something, you can always get it to us. What I'd like to do is just introduce Laura Brown. Laura is with RLS and Associates. They are a subcontractor with our firm, although we've been working on a number of projects together and have known each other for a number of years and work as a team. So Laura.
Thank you, AT. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to move on to the next step, which is, as we finish collecting the surveys and doing as much needs assessment and outreach as we can throughout the community, the next step and what that all builds up to is development of goals and strategies. And, it's sort of vision planning in a way. What would you like to see improve about the transportation services that are available? And it could be any transportation services for the specialized transportation services throughout the region, from any provider. And the goals could range from things like, expanding service area size to better communication, working together, a wide range of things can happen in a coordinated plan and can be put forward. So I just wondered today if you have some thoughts. It may be early for you to talk about this, but I'll open the floor up and would love to hear any of your goals and thoughts.
This is Jillian Keller again. I also want to just apologize if I'm monopolizing time. But regarding collecting feedback, I just want to push back a little bit. I know that you guys can't go and visit people in person, but I think the people who will have the most feedback for you probably don't have online access. And, just thinking about printing something offline, it's like we can do that at some of our locations, but if you can, put it in the budget for flyer costs and then connect with places like the food bank or Washoe County School District, they can pass those flyers out. And then I think you'll really be reaching the target audience that you have. Because like I said, the folks who would have the most feedback probably aren't going to or can't access an online survey. So I really think you should try to push for more of those printed surveys to be distributed by community organizations that are reaching those people.
Thank you. I think that's a very good point.
And hi, Jillian. This is Jennifer Myers at RTC. I wanted to let you know that earlier today, we actually had a meeting with the Human Services Network, and we will be distributing this to those members, and they will be getting the information out to their constituents. And they actually asked about printed materials, and we'll be making printed material available.
Thank you, Jennifer.
So, are there any more comments for the presenters?
This is Mike Szynski for the record. I just wanted to hop on, Jillian mentioned just a couple minutes ago, she'd heard that, you know, some of the buses were crowded, and I thought, you know, when I try to take the bus, it takes a long time to get places because of infrequent bus pickups. So maybe running more buses, more frequent bus trips instead of, you know, focusing on expanding the service area, which is also great. Just more frequent buses on the most popular routes that could help with the social distancing aspect.
Thank you. Yeah.
And this is Dora Will again. This past day, we were trying to catch Route 9. And if the bus driver did not know me, he would have passed me because I guess there's a pole on, what is that street? Is it Lincoln and, no, Prater and Rock or 22nd? I can't remember. It's one of the Lincoln line where you drop off and connect with Route 9. So you drop off, and then when you're facing the bus, you know, I'm letting you guys know how I describe things as a blind person. So you're facing Prater, you know, your back is to the wall, and to the left, you know, to the east is Route 9 pole. So I went there, but I guess you guys are not using that, but it's still there. And the bus driver goes, no, you have to go all the way around on, I forgot that street, to get to, you know, so we can pick you up on for Route 9. So if those poles are not being used, you know, maybe it's best if you guys take them out so that it doesn't confuse passengers. And I was not the only one there. There was also a sighted passenger there, and she didn't even know either. And with the stop calls announcement, it would be fantastic if those bus like Lincoln will meet Route 9. If you guys could somehow announce that this is El Rancho and I don't know, Prater, can stop here, you know, connect to Route 9, something like that. Because as a blind person, you don't see that. You don't see the pole outside, and you're depending on the announcement, and the app that I got does not tell me that you get off here for Route 9. Maybe that needs to be updated too. And for the survey online, I just want to you know, enlighten or let you guys know that some people have ASL and they will be taking the survey. So I don't know if you guys have audio, you know, language, the ASL on those videos or survey. I don't know. Just letting you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vince Harris, I want to thank the presenters for coming this evening and giving the presentation. One move item on now if I can. Did you have anything else you'd like to add before we?
Again, this is AT Stoddard. No, I appreciate your input and the comments, and Dora will look at making sure, because we're working with RTC on information on the website, so we'll make sure that those things are addressed. But again, I appreciate your time and your input, and we'll be back once we have some strategies identified and are talking about priorities. So hopefully we'll get some reaction from you then. But again, thank you very much for giving us the time to be on your agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. This is Vince Harris. Item, acknowledge receipt of it. Can I get a motion to acknowledge receipt of the report?
This is Jillian Keller. I move to acknowledge receipt of the report.
Thank you, Julian. And second, please.
This is Suraj Verma, second.
moved and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number, receive a report on the update of the Vision Zero Truckee Meadows Task Force. Andy, you have a report.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Rebecca Capular. She is the representative of RTC. I mean, there's quite a few of us involved, but she's one that really kind of keeps the group on task. And so she's going to provide an update of what's going on with Vision Zero.
Hello, everybody. This is Rebecca, and I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen. So if you bear with me for a moment, I hope
to see your slides.
You
Yeah.
can. I couldn't, so now I can. Thank you. All right. And like Dan mentioned, we are a community-based task force, and Vision Zero is a partnership with several different agencies. Jillian's on our Vision Zero task force, as well as Dan and several other people on this call. So anybody else who wants to chime in, if I miss something, feel free to do so. We've been meeting for a couple years now, and I've been before the TAC and the CMAC, and I just wanted to kind of give you a brief update on what we've done since we were here last, which I think was about a year now. Time flies when you're having fun. I can't believe it's been so quick. So the main thing with Vision Zero is we completed an action plan, and that action plan is on our website. It's visionzerotruckeemeadows.com. visionzerotruckeemeadows.com. It's a wealth of information. It has data on, studies we've done. It has information on public outreach, a place where you can report near misses, but it also has our action plan. And not to go into that and show you things that we've already shown you before, I just wanted to briefly touch on the action plan has 3 different components. One is programmatic on what we can do in the community to reach 0 fatalities by the year 2030 for our vulnerable road users. And that might be, looking at reducing speeds or looking at different types of designs for different roadways, trying to put in separate places for people who are walking or biking and have, some safety net there and not have everything really close and adjacent to the roadway. Another section is this, like I mentioned, the street design, and then in community engagement and outreach. And maybe that's something that this task, this group might have suggestions for us, because we've been doing some brainstorming recently about how to do outreach with drivers and how to do outreach with pedestrians and what's the best way to get messaging out. So we're always open to hearing suggestions that you might have, but we really try to base all of our decisions on data-driven and transparency. The biggest thing with Vision Zero is we try to look at every crash as an opportunity to learn from and to see what we can do differently without placing blame, and looking how to reduce the severe crashes that either result in a fatality of a vulnerable road user or of a severe crash where they have they live but have life-threatening and some catastrophic issues. So like I said, a year ago, we were before you, right before we went to all the local jurisdictions to show our action plan. The beauty of it is, because we're a regional task force, we got buy-in from all the local jurisdictions. We started with City of Reno. Their city council was very supportive. And then we went all the way to RTC, the Board of Health, Spark City Council, and Washoe County Commissioners. All of them gave us a resolution, which is on our website, and said they support us and they want to help us reach that goal. So I'm pretty proud of that fact, because it shows you that this isn't owned or driven by one of us. It's a regional task force, and it really is dependent on all of our partners coming together and working together. some of the milestones that we had last year was we got 2 pretty significant awards on our action plan. One was by the State Strategic Highway Safety Plan, and we were the Plan of the Year. That's given out by the Office of Traffic Safety. And then the second one was given to us for the best community plan. And that was given to us by the State of Nevada Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Board. So just wanted to share, those were pretty big accomplishments for us. The next part of my presentation, I was trying to figure out how to tell you what we've been up to. So there's a lot of things we've gone through. So I'm just pulled out a few things that were in our action plan and just want to show you what kind of progress we've made and where we are. So for example, we have in there to do a lighting study. There isn't any type of lighting standard regionally for Reno, Sparks, or Washoe County. So, or they're very archaic and very old. So UNR and NDOT have partnered, and they are doing a current lighting study, I believe in the Reno area. But once they have that done, we can definitely bring it back and show everybody what they find from it. But that's a very good progress, because we haven't had, I believe Reno said it's been 20 plus years since they've looked at their lighting standards. And as you know, technology changes very quickly, and there's lots of different types of lighting, whether it's LED or whatnot. So we really want to look at what's the best type of safety lighting that will not only light up an intersection, but might also help someone on a sidewalk or at a bus stop or who's riding a bike. School and youth safety has been a really big push for us. In the 2019-20 school year, we had a lot of kids that were hit walking and biking to and from school. And this year, school's going to start back in a couple weeks, and we have a meeting tomorrow morning with our partners. There's been a grant for them to work together, not just with the Washoe County School Police Department, but also Reno Police, the NHP, Nevada Highway Patrol, and Sparks Police Department. And we want to get the word out that school's going to start. There's going to be more kids out walking and biking again, and drivers to be mindful of slowing down in school zones. So that's a big partnership that we're working on. A new thing that we're looking at is also doing outreach with youth as they're waiting for buses. We had 5 kids at one time hit last year at a bus stop in Sun Valley. The problem was apparently the sun was in the driver's eyes, and that bus stop has been moved to resolve that problem. However, we realized we haven't done much to talk to youth about how to wait for the bus, where to go, and especially now we're going to have some social distancing when you're out there. So the Safe Kids Coalition, which is a coalition through Renown, they got some funding to buy reflective beanies for the kids. So we are, I think we've been trying to agree on 2 colors. We're looking at a bright yellow green and a bright orange, and then they also have reflectivity on them, so a car will be able to see them in low light setting. We're hoping to get this campaign kicked off towards the end of the year, November, when the time changes and it's harder to see people. And then we're going to try to work with the school transportation department on how do we talk to those kids, especially right now with our challenges of being in larger groups because of the COVID-19. A very exciting component is we are pursuing pedestrian court classes. They do these court classes in Las Vegas, and they're very successful. We are partnering with the City of Reno Police Department, and their city attorney and chief justice all agreed that we can move forward with looking at this. And the way it works is if a pedestrian gets a ticket for jaywalking, then they'll be offered an opportunity to get that off their record and not pay a fine if they attend a 3-hour court class. If a driver gets a ticket for not yielding to a pedestrian, they will be offered the same thing. However, they would have to pay a fee. In Las Vegas right now, they pay $100. That sustains the class. So we have a lot of details to still go through, but we are making progress on this in baby steps, and this is very exciting if we could do something like this in our community. We are not Las Vegas, but they have a lot of folks who attend this class who are indigent and can't pay. And a lot of times when you give a pedestrian in Vegas a ticket for jaywalking, they're technically getting a ticket or a warrant for their arrest because they won't be able to pay it. So we're hoping that we can do some education. They have had people repeat the class, but not very many. And they do a pre and post to make sure that people have learned something, and we can borrow and utilize a lot of their information. So this is a very exciting new program that we're trying to bring to our community. Driver education on the my right, I guess our right hand side, there's a friendly reminder card. We've been partnering with the police department, and when they're giving people tickets, they're going to start giving the folks this card with some NRS codes on there. This is important because we're not only saying, hey, you did something wrong, here's your ticket, but we're trying to give some education to drivers as well. We're in the process of making these right now. RIMSA is funding them through a grant they got from the Office of Traffic Safety. And one of our challenges is that a lot of our officers are motorcycle police, and they don't have a lot of space to carry a lot of flyers. So we're trying to make these smaller, maybe post-it size. But this is something we're moving forward. And hopefully we'll get some education out there for folks who need to learn some new laws that they should have known. As a lot of you know, we have the report near miss that's on our Vision Zero website. Again, if you didn't get that website, it's visionzerotrekkingmeadows.com. It's kind of long and I apologize. But if you go to the contact us area, you can report where you have had a close call or seen a close call, whether you're driving, walking, biking, skateboarding. We've gotten a lot of these, and we use this information to track where there might be a potential problem before it becomes a problem. We haven't had a lot of these since the shutdown started. I think there's been, people haven't been thinking in terms of near misses. We did get one recently that was a lady on a bicycle who was riding home from work, and it was on East 9th Street, I believe. So that was the most recent one we got. As you guys know, I know that Dan has given presentations and Amy about the 2050 Regional Transportation Plan update. We had a special meeting in July with the Vision Zero Task Force and asked the task force to help identify some corridors and safety projects and areas of concern. So we have been trying to utilize the task force for different types of information like that. Another project that's happening concurrently is the RTC and NDOT are both doing some studies in the downtown Reno area and on 4th Street. And we're collaborating together and really trying to look at bicycle connectivity as well as pedestrian connectivity. And if there's a possibility to do any types of road diets or what streets might that work on. And we're utilizing crash data to help us make those decisions as well. Also, we always look at how many crashes we've had and compare that to previous years. We get that data from the Office of Traffic Safety on a monthly basis. The last time we got it was the beginning of July, so we haven't gotten July's numbers yet. So basically between January 1st and June 30th of this year, 2020, we've had 8 pedestrian fatalities, which is the same as we had last year. We would like to see that go down, but we're really happy it's not going up. And then we had just a couple other things I want to show you that we're working on. UNR has recently received a safety grant. It hasn't started yet, and once it does, I know James Weston is really eager to come and share that information with you. It's going to be a grant based on data collection, and in the meantime, they did some data collection for us on Mira Loma and Veterans Parkway just about a week or 2 ago. You might have seen them out there. They're helping us to look at how many bicycles and pedestrians have been utilizing the shared use path. So we're just trying to collect data and see what's going on, where people are walking and biking. And then, as I mentioned before, the 8 pedestrian fatalities we've had, it did not include one that we had this past weekend, but we've had 2 that have happened on Pyramid Highway, which those have both occurred since June. Pyramid Highways, as you probably know, is a very challenging roadway because just the name Pyramid Highway. People don't expect to see people walking. There are bike lanes out there, but there's a lot of issues that our task force is going to be looking at and talking about and seeing where we need to go and what kind of recommendations and what to do about that. One thing I wanted to show you is in June, we celebrated with the Edwards family. The Edwards family a year ago on June, it was a year ago on June 6, 2019, the dad and his toddler daughter were walking in this crosswalk on Carrot Street in South Reno, and they were struck by a vehicle and had really bad catastrophic injuries. They didn't walk that crosswalk again until a year later, and the community came out and really supported them and celebrated with them and conquered their fear. And it was just really neat to see all of our partners, the police department, the fire department, as you can see, and the community came together really strongly. And I think that's important to remember is the end of the day, we're all people and we all have families and we all want to make it home to them safely. And that's really what our ultimate goal is. And with that, I can answer any questions that you might have. Let me stop sharing this so you can see me and hopefully my dogs won't jump in. But, you know, there's a lot happening. We meet monthly and, you know, anytime this this committee has any questions for us, you can run it through Dan or you can contact us through our Vision Zero website.
Sarah, thank you so much for the presentation. Do we have any questions for the presenter?
Come on, you guys can't be that tired. No, I'm kidding. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to share with you what we're doing.
No questions.
Rebecca, I have a
thank you again for giving us feedback.
Yes, Dora.
I have a question. Hi. I was just thinking, do you guys do, I know with the distance learning and stuff, but will you guys be doing presenting in like the senior or junior, you know, in the high schools?
Yes, thank you. That's a great question. We work very, very closely with the Safe Routes to School program, which is K through 8th grade. And because they don't go up past 8th grade, the nice thing with the task force is we don't have those same barriers as the school district Safe Routes to School program, so we can do outreach with the kids. Part of our participation is from the school district's communications team. And so they are very eager to help us reach out and give information to youth and like junior and high school. And we're just trying to figure out what that's going to look like right now because of the way school's going back into session. So next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, we have another meeting and we'll be talking about this a little bit more.
It'll be kind of cool if DMV would collaborate, you know, for people to getting their license and permits.
It would be, and I've often thought how cool it would be because you just sit there and there's no noise and there's those screens that change. If we could partner with them and have some safety messages at the DMV, that would be a great audience. I know if you're like me, I get really bored easily just sitting there waiting.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Dora. Good idea.
Yes, Sarah's here. Again, thank you for the presentation.
My pleasure.
This item is an acknowledgement of receipt of a report. Can I get a motion to acknowledge receipt of the report?
Jeff Bonanno, I move to receive the report for Vision Zero.
Suraj Verma, I'll second.
I'm not hearing anyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hey, Vince. Yeah, sorry. Jeff Bonanno motioned and Suraj Verma seconded. Are you able to hear us?
I hear you now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, item carries. Thank you again. Moving on to item number 7. These are member announcements or agenda items. CMAC meetings. Do we have any announcements from the committee? Pretty quiet tonight. Okay, no announcements. Moving on to item 8. Items, Dan?
I personally do not. I know Jim is also on the line, as well as Amy and Rebecca, so I would defer to my colleagues here at RTC.
Hey, Dan, this is Jim Gee. For the record, Jim Gee from RTC. Just one update. We had our bid opening today for our new FlexRide software. And that is the software that is going to be used not only to manage the Sparks and North Valley's FlexRides that we have in place now, but also the expanded Spanish Springs and the Somerset FlexRides when they are up and running later this year. Our board will act on that RFP bid receipt in a few weeks, and then we'll get the software in place between now and beginning of November. But we'll have brand new software for FlexRide, which is good. Then also, Dan, I just have a question for Dora on some of the comments from earlier in the meeting. Dora, you said that you used the Lincoln line to transfer to the Route 9, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you on the north side of Prater or the south side of Prater?
I took the Lincoln from the 4th Street station.
So you left 4th, okay. And when you got off at El Rancho, the driver essentially said you had to go around the corner as opposed to staying at El Rancho station.
Yeah.
Huh. I'll look into that and I'll shoot you an email tomorrow on what I find out. But I'm as interested as you are in what happened.
And I just have one question. So when you guys do the bid and for the software, will you be testing those software and make sure it's accessible with a blind user?
Yeah,
so we know the flex is, where it's at and it's coming, all that good stuff.
As part of our criteria that we are using to evaluate the software, access for the disability is part of the scoring mechanism that we're using. So yeah, that will be evaluated along with the other parameters of the software.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And just one last thing, Dan and Dora. Dora, you had a comment earlier in the meeting about the stop announcements. And if you have any specific examples, please email them to me. But I really did like your idea of putting transfer here to Route 9 or some other cross route. That's an excellent idea, and I'm going to follow up on that.
Yeah, and some of those buses, they have multiple buses, like 15 and 5, you know what I mean? So, and 13, I don't remember if 13 runs or 18. I can't remember. You guys have so many buses. And one more thing, since we're on the subject, you know how, like Route 4, I take Route 4 because I'm here in Northwest. And when it goes into the station, it changed route, but the driver doesn't tell me. And I know that station like the back of my hand, as a blind person would know with their eyes closed. But when Route 4 changes to Route 16, I'm lost. It's like, okay, this is not familiar. And I don't know if there's a way that the bus, the announcement could say that, or to put it on a driver. They're so overwhelmed with all these things. But just to let you, just a heads up,
I'm not sure if there's a way that our software can do that either, but I'll find out. That's an interesting question. Thank you. That's all I have, Dan.
Thanks, Jim. And I was remiss, I didn't mention David Carr's name. So sorry, David, didn't mean to exclude you. Doesn't look like any other RTC staff has any other item.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 9. Is there any additional public evening?
None received via email.
Okay. Well, we've made it to item number 10. Can I adjourn the meeting?
Jeff Bonanno, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Dora will second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none. The meeting is 6:41 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Be safe. Be well.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Have
month.
a good night.